Hi friends, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to a wrap up and TBR video. So we have a August wrap up, which is nuts. How is the summer basically over? That's what I want to know. And then a September TBR, which isn't too fall-y, fall-esque. I don't have many fall books. As I'm looking around my shelves, I have only a handful that I would deem like fall vibes, and I read them already. So any of the ones that like could be fall, I'm saving them for October because that's more fall to me. September can still be summer here where I live. So once the weather officially starts to cool down, then I will try to figure out what could be fall and what is not. So before we get into the TBR, let's talk about a wrap up. In August, I read a total of 6 books, DNF'd, soft DNF'd 1. I say soft DNF'd because it is very likely that I will pick it up again. I just don't think it's now. So I'm not going to go through these in any particular order. I'm just going to grab from the pile. 2 of them I do not own, but we do have 4. Oh, I had a color theme, I guess, for the month. Lots of pink and green, which is so funny to me because I've been loving matcha. So without further ado, let's get into this. The first book in this pile is Dream On by Jennifer Hartman. I gave this 4 stars. This is about Stevie and Lex. And like I said in a weekly vlog, it does give a little like High School Musical where you have 2 high schoolers trying out for their school play. And one of them comes from a wealthy, rich background. One of them is more middle class, like average, just kid at school. And you get their not so meet cute. You get how they meet, you get their high school experience, and then you get their adulthood life. So you kind of go back and forth in the timeline to see how they end up to where they end up in this book. I thought it was a good book. I have other favorites from Jennifer Hartman. This was not one of my top favorites from her, but I will say it is very good. I think it's a little bit different for her, but also after meeting her, it's not. She's very much so into music, so this is kind of spot on for her interests. Yeah, but I thought it was good. I have no complaints with it. Actually, I lie. I had one complaint, and it's something to do with this book and how our female main character, Stevie, her parents react to her like fake dating Lex. There is fake dating in this book. I am going to say it. It is one of the major tropes. You find it out very early on. It's not a spoiler. Her parents don't seem to care that she's back with Lex after everything that Lex does to her. So that was my only qualm with this book. So 4 stars. I did think it was good. I also recommend basically any other book by Jennifer Hartman. Then the next book I have in this pile is The X-Files by Jessica Joyce. This book is book 2. I don't know what the official like series is called, but You with a View is book 1. And the characters of You with a View are mentioned in this book. You don't need to read the first book in order to read this book, and vice versa. Like, I would be okay if I never read this book again. So that being said, I did give it 2.5 stars, which is okay. I was thinking about my star rating system. Because I do rate a lot in half stars, 2.5 is actually a middle ground, not 3, if we're gonna be technical. So I gave it 2.5 stars. I wasn't really invested, to be honest, in any of these characters. What else can I tell you? Yeah, it just felt flat. I don't know. That's how I felt about this book. I don't even really remember it anymore. Next book is 7 Year Itch. This is the book I soft DNF'd for the month. I just wasn't in the mood to read these 2 characters. I was like low-key invested because there's a lot of references back to book 1, and I loved book 1. Book 1 is 9-month contract, and I rave about that book, I think in a previous vlog. If it hasn't gone up yet, it will go up soon. This book, however, I just wasn't in the mood to read their smut-obsessed lives, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. But it is pretty. It is a pretty book and pretty edges. But unfortunately, this one wasn't for me. Will I pick it up again? Maybe. Maybe. I never say never. Unless like I hardcore DNF a book, which I did this month. I'm not even putting it in a pile because I did hardcore DNF it. I DNF'd Never by Jessa Hastings. I got 32 pages in and the Peter Pan character got me mad. So yeah, decided to DNF that one. The next book I have in my pile here is Pickleballers by Alana Long. I listened to the audiobook of this one and it is narrated by Alana Long, which I thought was very interesting. I've read some other books. I think, who was it? Travis Baldry also narrates his own books. So I think it's pretty fun when the authors do that. I gave this one also 2.5 stars. It was okay. I rant about it in a different weekly vlog that will be up very shortly. This book, I really enjoyed and appreciated the history that the author provided about pickleball and going to the Pacific Northwest and going to Seattle, and that's where a lot of this book takes place. So I really did like that. I just couldn't find any likable characters in this book. I didn't really like any of them. I thought like it was kind of slow, and normally I can get behind the slow burn or slow moving book, like it doesn't bother me. This one it kind of did. I am gonna read book 2 though, and it does come out I think either later this year or very early next year, because I am invested in her friend who ends up with his friend. I'm invested in that, so I can tell you that much. But that's all I gotta say about this one. The next book that I did read and I don't own a copy of is Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I got that one from the library. That one was 4 stars. I really did enjoy that one. I read some of the book and then I listened to some of the book. I liked the journalistic like side of things with that book and how they were competing to write Margaret, I think is her name. Margaret? I think it was Margaret's story. And Emily Henry just does it again. I thought it was a good book. Probably my favorite from her. I did really like Happy Place too, I will say that. That's another one of my favorites, but I think this one probably takes the cake for me. The last book that I literally just finished a couple of days ago that I read this month was Overruled by Elena Ferguson. Again, I do not own a copy of this book, but I most likely will go to Pango Books, Thrift Books, or there's a place called Book Off by me that's like half off books or very much so discounted books. See if I could find a copy there and then add it to my shelves. I thought this book was so good. I listened to the audiobook from Libby. I definitely do need a copy. I could see myself referencing this book again, recommending this book again, wanting to take pictures of the book. Is about 2 lawyers who are competing against each other, I think is the proper terms for it, on a case. They are going against each other on a case, and they realize that their pent-up frustrations that they take out on each other are actually like bigger emotions and relationship emotions. So that was a very fun book. I was obsessed from beginning to end, from top to bottom. I just thought it was a great book. So I gave that one 4 stars. And then now that wraps up the August pile of books. And now we're going to get into the September TBR. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think there's a total of 6 books on my TBR. I just don't have representations of one of them. One of these books I actually did start already, even though it is towards the end of the month. I don't think I'm going to finish it this month. It's most likely going to be a September finish. I am already 13% into it though. So this could go either way. If I get to the 50% mark before the end of August, it'll be an August book. If not, it'll be a September book. So the book I'm referring to is Red Card by Maren Moore. This is a rugby sports romance, coach's daughter and new guy on the block. So far, it's pretty good. It's definitely, I'm referring back to Binding 13 a lot. With this one, they're not similar by any stretch of the imagination. It's just that that's the only other rugby romance that I've read. So I keep thinking back to that series, which is another series I do have to pick up before the end of the year. Do I have any thoughts on Rory and Killian so far? No, except that I really like Rory as a character and not even just the Gilmore Girls reference. It's just her as a character I really like, and I like her chapters, and I like that this is dual POV. So my star prediction is either gonna be 4 stars or 4.5 stars for this one. Next, I have Love Arranged, which is the third and final book in the Lakefront Billionaire series. I think this is probably going to be 4.5 stars as well. I'm really hoping it's a good wrap up and not just like 2 character stories, because I know I've talked about books from a series in the past on this channel where I feel like the last book should have been more of a series and like, what is it called? Atmosphere? No. They build a universe. There we go. So I'm really hoping we do get more of a universe wrap up on the Lakefront Billionaire series and not just like 2 characters in a story and that's it. I would like to see appearances from the other characters in book 1 and book 2, which I think we will, because even in book 2, we saw references back to book 1's characters. So very excited. I'm wondering if we're gonna get any Easter eggs in this book, because I feel like Lauren Asher does a really great job of putting Easter eggs in her books, and I haven't seen this book talked about very often, if at all, on my feed. So it did just come out, and my library hold came in very quick. Lauren Asher and Lucy Score are the only people that I can safely and efficiently justify writing over 520 pages for a romance book and it still being good. Krista and Becca Ritchie are getting up there too. I just haven't read one of their books that are over 500 pages yet. I think the longest one that I've read is probably just over 4. So, in my opinion, romances should be like 320 to 350. Max 350, unless you could justify it like one of these authors. Next, we're gonna switch gears and we're gonna read a thriller, or attempt to read a thriller. I have Ghostwriter by Julie Clark. I don't know much about this one. I just know that I think the father dies and the daughter is the ghostwriter. So it says the Taylor family shatters in a single night when 2 teenage siblings are found dead in their own home. The only surviving sibling never shakes the whispers and accusations that he is the one who killed them. I hope it's good. I think I've seen good things about this book. I've definitely seen it in my feed, but I've purposely like scroll past reviews so that way I'm not influenced, because I'd rather go in blind than be influenced. My star prediction, 4 stars. 3.5 to 4 stars. I don't go into thrillers trying to figure them out ahead of time, so I'm hoping to be shocked and I'm excited to read it. Next is highly anticipated, or 2 highly anticipated books for me for September. I have a feeling these are going to be part of my top reads of the year, and this one is Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinniman. This one follows Carl and Princess Donut, and I think they are part of like a television show where they have to go through all these different like levels. He goes through a breakup and he's stuck with the cat, which is Princess Donut. He's a Coast Guard vet, which is a fun fact, and his ex's girlfriend's cat as they try to survive the end of the world just to get to the next level in a video game, like a trap-filled fantasy dungeon. I'm so excited to read this. You guys have no idea, I'm so excited to read this. I somehow was able to manage getting an arc of like book 6 or 7. So I really need to like pick up the pace and read these ASAP, so that way I can get to the new release that's coming out. And it turns out he's also launching a standalone book, brand new, because these are all like relaunches or re-releases. He's coming out with a brand new standalone that I requested on NetGalley. So I'm really hoping I get it. I just hear great things about him and his writing and these books, so I think it's gonna be 5 stars. Dare I say, I think it's gonna be 5 stars. Another 5-star prediction. And also I think it's going to be highly anticipated topic of the year. It's going to end up breaking me is Atmosphere by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have read some of her books, but they're kind of been hit and miss for me. Carrie Soto was a good one. Was not the biggest fan of Malibu Rising. And I thought Evelyn Hugo was good. Appropriately hyped, dare I say. So I think this one is just going to knock the socks off of me, and I think it's just going to be great. So I'm very excited. I think it's going to be 5 stars. What else am I reading this month? There was one book. Oh, the last book is my book club pick, and we're reading Bride by Ali Hazelwood. Round of applause for that. Another Ali Hazelwood book going down. I do not own a physical copy of this book anymore. I did actually sell it a while ago when I was just trying to really like downsize the books that I had because I was very overwhelmed. Didn't think I was gonna read it, but turns out we're reading it. So that's gonna be the September book club pick. So if you're not part of my book club, you can join it on Fable, and I think I always link it in the description box below. If not, somebody tell me in the comments or just shoot me a DM asking for the link and I will gladly give it to you. So that is the TBR, that is the August wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and seeing what I'm reading for the month. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on post notifications. Don't forget to do all the YouTube things, and I will see you guys in another video. Bye.